Good evening. My name is Renee D. Warren, and I am the founder of Uniquely and Wonderfully Made Ministries. I hope you had a happy Thanksgiving. Well, today I have a treat for you. We're breaking with tradition today. I wish to share with you a heartwarming true story about with you from my childhood. I'm thankful for my father. It's entitled Daddy's Girl. Oh, I said, my hands were cold, and so was my face. It was cold, windy winter day when I was 4. My heart jumped for joy as I played in the snow, making and throwing snowballs. As we walked down the sidewalk, I was with my dad. He held my hand as we crossed the street. He was tall and very strong. I knew he loved me and would protect me from any and all danger. I asked him, "Where are we going, Daddy?" He said, "To see the doctor." My father, I asked him, "Why are we going to see the doctor, Daddy?" He said, "The doctor is going to check you out to make sure that you are still well." Finally, we arrived at the doctor's office. I ran in to escape the cold. I was so grateful to be in a warm place. The waiting room was full of people. Many of the people looked sad. Some looked like they were in pain. We had to wait a long, long time as the nurse called people one by one to see the doctor. Finally, we were called. This was my first visit. The nurse who guided us in had a white dress on which came to her knees. She had a little white cap on her head. "Let's go into this examination room, honey. My name is Miss Taylor," she said. "My name is Mr. Dillard," my dad said as he followed closely behind us. "Stand on the scale," she said. 35 pounds. She wrote it down in a paper book. "Sit down," she said. Next, the nurse wrapped a piece of cloth around my left arm. The cloth had a tube in it, and there was a ball at the end of the tube. She squeezed the ball, and the cloth became tighter and tighter. She looked at it, let the air out of it. She wrote in her book. Lastly, she picked up a skinny glass tube. "Put this under your tongue," the nurse said. She waited a while, took it out of my mouth, looked at it, and wrote something down. "Wait here, honey. The doctor will be right in to see you," she said as she left the room. "What's in that jar, Daddy?" I asked as I pointed to it. "Those are tongue depressors," he said. "What's that?" I asked. "They are big popsicle sticks that the doctor puts on your tongue and tells you to say 'ah' so he can look down your throat." "Oh," I replied. I pointed to another jar filled with fuzzy white things. "What's that?" I asked. "Those are cotton balls the doctor uses to clean your skin," he replied. Right after my dad had answered that question, a tall man came into the room wearing a white coat. "Hi, Mr. Dillard." "Hi, sweetie. What's your name?" "Renee," I replied. "I'm Dr. Watson." He proceeded to go into a jar and picked out a big popsicle stick and put it in my mouth. "Stick out your tongue and say 'ah,'" he said. I stuck out my tongue and said, "ah." "Your throat looks good," he said. Dr. Watson looked at my chart and said, "Everything looks good. Your weight, your blood pressure, and your temperature." He then proceeded to get something that looked like a long plastic tube with a big, big needle on the end of it. Put it into a tiny, tiny jar, filled the tube up with what I seemed to me to be water. Next, he reached inside of the jar, got a cotton ball, and put something on it. He walked over to me where I was, wiped me with the wet cotton ball, and put the needle next to my left arm. I became terrified. I thought to myself, oh no, is he going to stick me with that big needle? Dr. Watson said to me, don't be afraid. All you'll feel is a little stick. I cringed. As he stuck me, I yelled and started to cry. It was at that point I began to feel anger welling up inside of me. I thought, he hurt me. Dr. Watson put a Band-Aid on my left arm. My dad put on my sweater on me. Then I put on my coat. He put my scarf around my neck, and I put on my hat and mittens. I was still very angry. My dad took my hand as we walked down the hall. When we started to pass Dr. Watson, I began to feel very bold since I had my strong daddy with me. I knew he would defend me. Don't bother me no more, I said very angrily. The nurse and doctor began to laugh at me. I thought, it's not funny. Thus ends my story for today. Hope you all have a good Black Friday today. Thank you. My name is